Now we're going to take a look at the Select tool and the Lasso Select tool. And those are found here on the designing toolbar. And so we'll start with the rectangular selection tool. So when I turn this tool on, generally speaking, the easiest way to select an object is just simply to click on it. And you can tell it's become selected because it gets this box around it, and I can click on any object to select it quite easily. Now, if you would like to select multiple objects, you can hold your control key down and click on them to select multiple objects at the same time. You also have the ability to click and drag a box to select multiple objects. So using the Select tool, I just click to hold down to start my selection, and as I drag a box, anything that's inside of the box will be selected, and it has to be completely inside the box. So there you can see I was able to select those 3 circles by drawing that box. But for example, if I draw this box and the 3 circles are completely enclosed within the box, but the star shapes are not enclosed in that box, they will not be selected. So if I let go, I get just the 3 circles and not the star shapes. Now, if I click and drag further and I go all the way over to include this pie shape, then guess what? I get the pie shape as well. So with the rectangular selection tool, you have the option of just clicking to select or clicking and dragging to select multiple objects at the same time. Now, the alternate sort of selection tool is the Lasso Selection tool, and with this one I'll demonstrate using it. So for example, once I turn the Lasso Selection tool on, I actually have to draw the selection. So if I wanted to select, let's just say, this one circle, I would actually need to see, when I made my first click, it starts a blue line, and when I make my second click, it continues on, third click, fourth click, fifth click. Now, as you can see, my circle is completely enclosed within my line, and when I hit enter, it'll select, oh sorry, not enter, when I right click, it will select whatever's inside. So I'll do that again, I don't mean to confuse you guys. So I have the Lasso Selection tool. If I draw a box, and this time I'm going to draw a box that includes 2 of those circles, and as soon as I get it to be around those 2 circles, I can right click to let go, and I've selected those 2 circles. And this can be helpful whenever we're trying to select something that's in a real tight spot. So maybe I can try and make a real tight spot here. So if it was tough to select a specific object out of a cluster of objects, so maybe we'll put a bunch of these all really sort of tightly together, maybe even on top of each other a little bit. So here I am. Let's say we wanted to select just this circle. Well, if I choose the Lasso Selection tool and then I draw a box that goes around just one of those circles, when I right click, I only get that circle selected. So there's 2 options of how you select an embroidery object. Now, what I'll do is I'm also going to show, perhaps it'll be easy with the rectangle, would be a good demonstration. So I'll click on the rectangle to select it, and I just want to zoom in nice and close here over top of this rectangle so that we can see all of the different things that appear. So when we've selected an embroidery object, you can see that it gets highlighted by a box. But if you look, for example, at the corners of that box, there's a very small, and let's just zoom in really closely on this, there's a very small circle that's right around the corner point, and if I mouse up to that circle and I get right over top of it, notice what happens. My mouse went from, I'll move it away, a mouse arrow. As soon as I get over that circle, I get a rotation symbol. And now if I was to right now left click, I've grabbed the shape, and now I could literally rotate it to any degree I want. Just, this is a visual edit that I can do. I can rotate my shape visually, and that's the way I did it with the rotate corner. And so if I come up to any corner, I can rotate my shape. Now, something that's interesting is this little white dot in the center, that's the point that I'm rotating around. So if I wanted to rotate around a different place, let's say, for example, we wanted to rotate around this point right here, then I could select that point, and now when I rotate, it will rotate around. That is becoming the, what was the correct word? The fulcrum? It becomes the point that we rotate around anyways. And so if you grab on any corner, you can rotate, and it will, move my white point to be wherever you want. Let's say you put it down into this corner here. Well, then it will rotate around that corner easily. So that's how you can rotate using the select tool. There's also, that was when it was rotating, but if I go right to the corner, it changes from the rotation symbol right on the corner. It changes to a change size symbol. And now, if I click and drag, I can control the shape of it, and it's going in proportion. In other words, it goes up and down, but it stays in proportion to the size of that shape. And so I can do that from any corner. Again, rotate symbol, then the resize symbol. Now, you also have icons on the edges of the sides. And so, for example, if I mouse up to one of those, I get, again, two different symbols. The first symbol is for, I guess, skewing or slanting the shape. And if I click right now, you'll see that I could slant my shape by using this little handle. If I get closer to the point, it goes to a resize where I could then stretch my shape. So if I wanted to stretch the shape, I have to go right to the center of that, and that's when I see the stretch icons, versus when I first approach that, I get the change slant icons. So those are the different types of settings that we can control. So we have the rotate or the resize, and then we also have the slant versus the stretch. And remember, if you resize on a corner, you resize proportionally. If you resize on a side, you stretch the shape. So those are things that we can do whenever we use the select tool to select an object. So I guess, why don't we do another one? I'll just select the star. I could rotate my star if I wanted to. I could resize my star if I wanted to. I can change the rotation point of the star and then rotate around that point. I also have the ability to slant my star with the slant option, or stretch the star with the stretch option. So that's the different ways that you can edit a design using the selecting tool. And now what I'm going to do is just prepare for the next segment, and I'm going to show a little bit more about making these same selections, but we're going to talk about using the Control key, the Shift key, and the Alt key to see how they affect creating embroidery designs.